my niggas turn shooters. All my ops turn rap. All my niggas turn shooters. On the internet, you ain't been a threat. You been stuck in a computer. Show me the proof. All my niggas turn shooters. All my niggas from the Uda. Welcome to the Uda. All of my niggas insane. They tryna catch. All my niggas from the Uda. All my niggas turn shooters. All my ops turn rap. All my niggas turn shooters. On the internet, you ain't been a threat. You been stuck in a computer.
What's good? Back with another one. You already know, Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro Gramz, day 2. Milagro testifies. Pam Esq, the law, Intellect, is breaking it all down. Shout out to everybody that's actually going to the trial and they're covering it like how I was covering the Diddy trial. Salute to that, man, most definitely. So I do want to get into this breakdown. Salute to everybody that is on any one of the platforms that I am streaming to live right now. Make sure you're subscribing to Uda On Go, OOTAONGO. Make sure you're a part of On Go. Be a part of the Go team and the Go gang. You already know the vibe. So let's get into Pam, and this is what we're going to be breaking down today. She's going to be breaking it all down to us.
And so she's bringing the case. She's the one who brought the lawsuit. So her team called Milagro as their first witness. So they called her in their case in chief, as opposed to waiting for the defense, which is Milagro, to put on their case after the plaintiff rests, and then they cross-examine her. They decided strategically, I assume for whatever reason, they decided to call her in their case. So it was very interesting because as you will see, a lot of the testimony that we went over today was a lot of text messages and audio and voice messages and her lives, and it was a lot of that. Okay, but immediately when the doors of the courts were open, the first question that Milagro's attorney asked was, well, first of all, let me go back. Before the jury came out, apparently one of the jurors had a question, and this is how I kind of knew that even though we are online, so we know a lot of the back and forth, we know about the Tory Lanez trial, we've all done argued it, everyone has their positions. I think there is somewhat of an assumption that everybody knows what's going on with this stuff, but there really are people that are oblivious to this. They are not online, they're not watching commentators, they're not watching academics. They're not watching Joe Budden. Like they don't know what's going on. So before the jurors came out, there was a question of they were confused about all these names, like all the names. So there was testimony about, of course, Daystar Peterson, which is the real name of Tory Lanez. However, they didn't know, is his name Tony or Tory? Sunstar Peterson, which is the father. So they wanted to know, like, well, who is that? Who is he? Who is Kelsey? Is the best friend of the so-and-so? It lets you know that there was a lot of testimony that was given, and they were obviously getting lost in the sauce. So I knew either it felt like perhaps they were getting hit with a bunch of information, and they were almost, instead of it being fed to them like we're just teaching you this like a 5-year-old, it was almost perhaps an assumption maybe that people knew who these people were. So that was the first piece of information. Like, you might want to figure, let them know who everybody is, because that's important, obviously. Who they didn't know people's suit on that. Who is this person? Who is Megan Thee Stallion? Who are these people? Okay, so that was like the first thing. Then when Milagro's attorney gets up, not Milagro's attorney, I'm sorry, Megan Thee Stallion's attorney, because this is their case in chief, gets up, and the first question he starts asking is, have you talked to bloggers? Have you talked to reporters? Have you talked to the press? And then when she was like, no, I haven't talked to anyone. So when you went to lunch yesterday, did you talk to anyone? She's like, well, I went in the lunch, the cafeteria area that they have, and there were a lot of people that came in there, and I knew some of the people from online or whatnot. So that was like the beginning of, that they're watching your every move. They're watching everything that you do. So then she turns around the office. You didn't talk to that gentleman in the back.
Salute to everybody rocking with us. You already know. I just want to take a listen and break it down, because right now, this is people being in the courtroom, people getting access to the actual transcripts and what's going on in the court on the exact date. I was at the Diddy trial live, and you already know you don't have access to some of this information unless you're at the trial, unless you're there. I saw Donat, shout out to Donat. I saw Donat get a footage of Meg Thee Stallion earlier today. I ended up uploading it to my channel. Shout out to that. But shout out to anybody that's getting out there and getting this content, because this shit about to be up crazy. So shout out to that. Let's get back to Pam and see what she's talking about.
I'm like, she's like, I mean, we might have chit-chatted for a minute, but I don't know. I said, okay, I see where this is going here. So then once they go through all of the rigmarole, and she's like, I didn't really talk to any about this case. I didn't talk to anybody about this. Then they kind of just start moving in with the question. So like I said, a lot of the questioning, this is just to summarize, so before I get into it, a lot of the question were just text messages. And if you follow Milagro, you probably have seen some of this stuff before. Post